Hey guys, it's Sebastian. I'm back with another video for you today, and I've got a special guest here with me. It's Anthony of Maison Violet. We did a video, Zoom video, several months ago, and today he's here in the studio. This is my second guest in the studio for God knows how long. But today we're going to discuss his brand. We're going to talk about the 6 fragrances plus their limited edition, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So find out about Maison Violet coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. This is Anthony of Maison Violet. I forgot to mention we are doing a giveaway as well. 3 giveaways. We have a full bottle of choice and 2 sample sets again. And stay tuned till the end to find out how to participate. But if you're tuning in for the first time to the channel and you still haven't subscribed, please do click the subscribe button below and also click the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. So today we're not going to talk a lot about the brand because we did discuss the brand in a Zoom video. If you are curious to learn more about the history of the brand, please go catch that video. Basically today we're going to focus on the fragrances, correct?
Exactly.
Yep. Well, tell me a little bit, when was the first fragrance you launched?
So originally we launched 3 fragrances, which were Sketch, Pourpre d'automne, and Un air d'apogée. We launched them in 2017. And so yeah, not to go too much in detail with the brand again, but we bought the brand in 2016, relaunched it in 2017 with these 3 fragrances, and we took inspiration from the fragrances that we had back then because we were able to purchase a lot of the vintage fragrances and took a bit of inspiration from them and made them a bit more modern as well and added a bit more twists to them.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I like the history that's behind your brand. And as I said, go catch the Zoom video we did. But we're going to go ahead and start off with Sketch. How's that sound?
Perfect.
So let's smell Sketch. It is definitely one of my favorites. To me, I find this to be like an amber, patchouli amber kind of a thing, right?
Exactly.
Let me spray that one too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So originally Sketch was called Ambre Royale, and then it was renamed Sketch in the 20s, and we believe that, so this is our speculation, we believe that it was renamed that way because at that time Judah was expanding to the United States, and yeah, obviously people had a very difficult time with like the French names. They're not easy to pronounce, and so Sketch was perfect for the American market, and like its original name suggests, it was an ambery fragrance, and we worked around these ambery notes that we could find in the vintage formula, and wanted to bring like newer notes in there as well. So that's why we also have a lot of white clean musks in there, as well as this patchouli that kind of gives a chypre vibe, a neo-chypre vibe. Okay. And a lot of sillage in the fragrance as well, and that goes really well with this these ambery base notes.
That's what I like about patchouli, because of the sillage. That's the best thing about it. It just leaves amazing trail. This is warm, and I do pick up resins in here as well. What are some of the resins in here? So
there's a lot of benzoin.
Benzoin, okay.
Yeah, and I think there's a few others. And we also worked a lot around spices in this fragrance.
Yeah, spicy.
But we wanted to try to find spices that aren't commonly used in fragrances, but that people know, and that's how we came up with nutmeg.
Nutmeg, okay.
Yeah, because that nutmeg, everyone knows about like what nutmeg smells like. You see it a lot in the kitchen, but not so much in fragrances. And we thought it would be cool to try to bring this spice that everyone knows into like this new dimension, which is the fragrances.
Yeah, so this is lovely. This is definitely one of my favorites from the brand because I love patchouli and I love amber, spices, resins. It's a great combination. So there is a prominent nutmeg note you're saying in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's lovely.
There's a lot of other spices in there as well, but yeah, nutmeg was like the main one we wanted to push forward.
Okay. And what was the original French name again?
Ambre Royale. So Royal
Amber. Okay. So that got changed before the brand folded.
Yeah. Yeah. So the original fragrance was launched in 1900. Okay. And it was rebranded Sketch in the 1920s. I think like 1920 or 1921, I believe. And yeah, so our thought, like I said, is for the American market.
Okay. Cool. So if you guys don't know, all the brands' fragrances, except for one of their limited edition fragrance, is created by Nathalie Lorson, and you guys keep working with her, correct?
Exactly, yeah.
And you have a couple of new fragrances coming out soon?
Yeah, we're working on a few fragrances still with her, and one that should come out around September.
Okay.
That she worked on.
Cool. Well, the last fragrance you launched was from May of this year. Or
Yeah, exactly.
Which,
It was
May of 2021.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
it.
All right. Cool. So should we smell Tanagra next?
We can do. So if we want to keep in the.
Oh yeah, let's do it in order. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so we can do Un air d'apogée or Pourpre d'automne.
Okay, let's do that. Let's do my favorite. As you can see, look how much I've used of this one. So this one is the tobacco and iris, right?
Exactly.
Oh, it's really, really nice.
Thank you.
So I was mentioning the other day in a video, I featured it as an alternative to tobacco vanille, which doesn't smell the same, but it's definitely an alternative. I was saying that there was something sweet and honey that I'm picking up in here, but it's not mentioned in the notes.
So there is honey notes in there.
Okay.
So yeah, that completely makes sense.
Okay. I was right.
Yeah, and there's also beeswax in there, which obviously brings this like animalic feel to it.
Okay.
But there's also other notes like mimosa, for example, that has honey vibes.
Oh yeah, I get a major honey smell from mimosa, like kind of get like a almondy honey combo.
Yeah, definitely. And so that was like one of the main theme of this fragrance is we wanted to work around leather and tobacco, but like fresh tobacco, not burnt tobacco. And tobacco has this natural honey vibe to it as well.
Really?
Yeah. And so in there's hay as well that goes well with the tobacco, mimosa that kind of ties everything together as well.
Okay.
And all these honey notes that are added in as well too.
So you're saying leather. I don't get much leather in this, but you're also saying it's a fresh tobacco. I get burnt tobacco or ashy tobacco, so I'm assuming I'm getting the smokiness from the leather.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah?
Because the leather in there is a very soft leather that kind of smells like suede.
Okay.
And the way you actually make a suede note in perfumery is you add leather notes and then you add iris, and the iris naturally gives a suede vibe to the leather.
Okay. You're speaking like you know what you're doing. So you went to perfume school, right?
Yeah, exactly. So 5 years degree in perfume school in Paris.
Okay, no wonder you know what you're talking about. Cool. So yeah, this is my favorite. Definitely a great tobacco fragrance because I love tobacco. And even though I should like Sketch more because I love patchouli, this one just does it for me. I think the combination of the notes really work great. So that is... I'm not going to say it in the French accent. It's Un air d'apogée. So can you say it in the French accent?
Un air d'apogée.
And what does that mean?
So the apogée is like the highest point, the climax, the best moment, like the best. It's hard to explain, but yeah, I would say the highest point. And un air is like an air of the highest point. Kind of like it seems like we're reaching this highest point.
Can you just say orgasm or climax? Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna go to the next fragrance. This is Pourpre d'automne, right?
Yeah, and that means so purple fall.
Purple fall. Okay. Purple is one of my least favorite colors, but I do enjoy this particular fragrance.
Pourpre isn't actually purple. It's more. There might be a term in English for it. It's a cross between like Bordeaux color and purple.
So it's kind of a reddish purple.
Yeah. There might be a term for that in English. I don't know. I don't have it in mind.
So the reason you're calling this purple, is it because of the violet note in here? Is violets are purple, right?
So yeah, the association of so violet as well as rose together give this like pourpre color. And we also have fruity notes. We have peach and plum, and together obviously give this like pourpre feel.
Okay. I'm kind of getting like a mulled violet rose wine kind of a combo.
Yeah, definitely.
With like fruits and spices.
And we worked a lot around a mossy base note, mossy base note in there. And so there's this like vintage base that's called Mousse de Saxe, that was used back in the days in French perfumery, and we
Okay.
tried to recreate this base into this fragrance, and so it has a slightly leathery feel, but also very mossy, very woody. There's vetiver in there as well, and so in the base note of of this fragrance, you can smell these notes that kind of are behind these like very rich floral notes of violet and rose, and these fruity head notes.
Okay. This is really great, but it smells very classic. And one of the flowers that I haven't really tackled on the channel is violets, and this is definitely a great representation of violets as a flower. It's leathery, but I didn't know there was roses in here. As soon as you mentioned roses, I did pick up roses, but I think it's more violets than roses, right?
Yeah, definitely. And there's violet leaf in there as well. That smells different than the violet flower, but it brings a lot of natural feel to the violet flower. And also the association of rose and violet really gives this like cosmetic feel, because
Makeup.
yeah, powder, cosmetics, lipstick. Because, for example, in like vintage lipstick formulas, a lot of like violet and rose notes would be used together, and so lipstick smells like violet and rose.
Okay.
And that's why there's this like lipstick feel to it, cosmetic feel to this fragrance.
Gorgeous. It's beautiful. Really, really beautiful. Very classic to me. All right, so that is Pourpre the Autumn. I know I'm butchering that.
They're so hard. I know it's so difficult for everyone who doesn't speak French to pronounce these very lyrical French names.
Nice. All right, so is this in order?
Yeah.
Okay. So next we're going to talk about Tanagra. Tell me a little bit about what that name means.
So Tanagra was actually the first fragrance we launched, not taking inspiration from the vintage formula,
Okay.
because the name was already so inspiring for us. So Tanagras are Greek statues that symbolize and represent women, femininity, grace, beauty. And this was something that really resonated with us. So we wanted to work around this fragrance that has this very feminine connotation, but also that is still unisex. And we added a lot of woody notes in there that are like the skeleton of the fragrance and make it very unisex.
This is kind of like a... Well, I already mentioned this in the video we did. It had a very faint reminder of something like Dior Homme, because this is iris, right?
Yeah, there's also a lot of woody, ambery base notes, and those are present in Dior Homme as well. So that's why it kind of has similar ingredients in there. But a lot more, Tanagra is a lot fresher and a lot more floral than Dior Homme. Not as woody, even
This
if
is very fresh to me, yeah. It's also very airy, kind of like ethereal, kind of.
Yeah, definitely.
You're kind of like floating.
And that's really what we wanted to work around. We wanted to work around like floral petals, as well as texture, like cashmere texture, silk, and those were the ingredients that came to mind when we were working around these textures. And at that time, we really wanted to do something more than just create fragrances too. And that's why with this fragrance, and we thought it made complete sense with the name, we partnered up with an association. I don't know if I told you this already, but we partnered up with an association that's called Solidarité Femmes, and it's an association in France that fights against violences done towards women. And parts of the benefits made with this fragrance are given to them to help out. And we were very happy to have this like collaboration and to be able to feel like we're doing more than just create fragrances.
That's amazing. Yeah, this is really lovely. I think it's a great iris. I think it's iris, and iris definitely people associate with feminine fragrances, but I feel like this is really right down the middle with the unisex touches. It's not leaning feminine or masculine. What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I completely agree. At first, when we were working on it, I thought it was a bit more feminine, and then one day, just randomly, I kind of got this, like you mentioned, this Dior Homme vibe, and I was like, well, actually, it's kind of in the middle. And when you think about it, Dior Homme is actually a pretty feminine fragrance too, because there's this iris present. And so, yeah, I completely agree. It's like right in the middle.
Yeah, and it gets woodier as it's settling. The airy iris is kind of like calming. Very nice fragrance. This has probably become a second favorite because look how much I've used up so far. I think for me, it's Un Air d'Apogée, Sketch, and Tanagra. Those are the order. That's the order of the fragrances so far. So next up is a fragrance I'm not too familiar with. This is NUEE Bleu, correct?
Yeah.
Did I say that correctly?
Exactly. And NUEE Bleu means blue cloud, blue mist.
Okay.
And so for this fragrance, we also worked around colors. So this one, Lake Tanagra, was not inspired by the fragrance back then. We were more inspired by the name that was very inspiring to us. We saw a lot of ingredients through this name. We did have the original fragrance for NUEE Bleu.
Okay.
But we didn't think that the smell really reflected what the name suggests, at least not today. And so we wanted to rework around it, and that's why we chose not to work on the original formula and create something new. And so yeah, like I mentioned, NUEE Bleu means like blue mist, blue cloud, and so obviously there's this color blue that's present in the name that we wanted to work around with. And being a big fan of iris, there's iris again in this fragrance, and that's one of the main ingredients as well, but it's treated very differently than Tanagra. And there's a very fresh head start with bergamot, lemon, orange. There's also orange blossom in there that bring a lot of floral freshness to the start, and then you fall into this like this iris, this very creamy iris, because there's sandalwood in there too. There's a lot of woody notes that go behind this iris, and a lot of musks as well. So it's a very cocooning, very reassuring fragrance. It's probably one of the few I wear the most in our collection, because
Really?
you can wear it at any time. It's
very simplistic, but it's complex. Yeah. And I'm also getting the reminder of soap, but I don't know if it's because I wore this. I mean, I used the soap that you guys made a soap with this fragrance.
Yeah, what you're saying really makes sense, because that's why we chose...
There's a soapy quality about this.
Yeah, and that's actually why we decided our first soap to smell like NUEE Bleu, because there's already this very like clean smell to it, very soapy clean smell, and there's also a like baby smell to it.
It's like a baby powder or something?
Yeah,
I see that. Yeah, totally do.
And that's what the orange blossom and iris, and those two ingredients are usually found in like these baby lotions, and it really gives like this very soft and gentle
it's very cozy. There's a very coziness about it, and the soap with this fragrance was also very gentle and creamy. And I was gonna say, this also has a creamy undertone, like it's almost like creamy sandalwood or milk or something.
So there is sandalwood in there as well, and there's a note that you can't really smell, but maybe when I say it, you'll smell it. We also worked a bit around leather. So in a lot of our fragrances, actually, there's a leather base note, and so there's leather in this fragrance too. But it doesn't smell like leather, but you can kind of feel it when you dive your nose into it, and like wait a few minutes as well for the fragrance really to settle in.
Okay. I was gonna say maybe it's suede leather?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah?
And that's with the iris again, that gives the leather that's used in there this suede feel.
So does Nathalie like to work with leather and iris?
I think that's mainly me.
Oh, okay.
I'm a huge iris fan, and I tend to want to put iris everywhere.
Okay.
And I know that Paul and Victorien, so my two associates, they kind of asked me to calm down with the iris.
Okay.
That's why for our future creations there won't be
no iris, huh?
But yeah, I feel like it's just such a versatile ingredient, and it's so addictive. It smells so good and can be used in so many different ways, and that's why I tend to want to put it everywhere.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this in the Zoom video, that there is a powdery experience with a lot of your fragrances.
Yeah.
Is it because of the iris presence in most of them?
Yeah, I think it's mainly the iris.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is really nice. I think this is a very simplistic fragrance, as in easy to wear with a very simple smell, but it's really, really cozy and powdery, and it's got this soapy cleanness about it. Yeah, it's very comforting to me. I think it's very comforting. And one other thing I should say, it reminds me of something I've smelled from Guerlain. I don't know if that has anything to do with the fact that you guys have classic fragrances. Did you say this was a classic recipe, or?
So yeah, unfortunately it wasn't based on the classic formula, but yeah, mainly what we try to do is take inspiration from vintage perfumery and make it more modern, because that's pretty much how we really fell in love with perfumery, is with all these like vintage creations. And and they all had such rich quality, and that's something that we really wanted to bring back. Use this quality, this like very creative, bring back this creative aspect, but with also modern ingredients. And for example, in this one, there's a lot of like white musks that are pretty modern, and so it has this retro modern feel to it, and that's really what we try to do: create something that's retro and modern.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, this is really lovely. I could see myself wearing this one at home and sitting and just kind of being cozy in front of a fire if I had fireplace, but I don't. But you know, I can wear it near my mom where she has a fireplace. This is really lovely. Yeah. Totally reminds me of the soap.
Yeah.
So the soap is made with the same formula then?
So it's a close formula because obviously it's inspired by the smell, but we reformulated it for a soap format.
Oh.
And obviously, since soaps are made to be cheaper, there's a lot of high quality in our creations with a lot of very expensive materials, and we would have to sell our soap way more expensive if we kept the same exact formula.
Okay.
So we had to reformulate it for a soap base as well as to adjust correct pricing for the soap.
Okay.
But we feel like we did a great job working on the soap because the smell is very close to the fragrance. So very happy with the result.
Yeah, it's nice. I really enjoyed that soap. Loved it. Loved the way I smelled afterwards. But I think I might have to get another soap and then wear this afterwards because it might complement it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And speaking of complement, we have their latest fragrance called Compliment. I do have one question. How come this is the logo is different color here?
Yeah, so we wanted to, so the bee stamp on this fragrance, that was like the original bee stamp that was present on Violet products back then.
Okay.
We worked around it, and we wanted to recreate a logo that was maybe a bit more modern, a bit more minimalistic, and that's why we redesigned the bee that will be present in the future creations as well.
So you'll change all the logos to this on the bottles?
Exactly.
Okay. That's cool. Yeah, this is a lot more modern looking logo.
Yeah, and like I said, we really like to work around retro modern things, not only in smell but also in design, and that's why we have this very like retro symbol of the bee and everything that goes with it on that we kept on our fragrances, but want to make it a bit more modern for this retro modern feel.
Okay. Yeah, this is so naturalistic in the tuberose smell. I love smelling tuberose flowers. And even though I think there's some jasmine in here too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's mostly the tuberose though.
So we actually used 3 different types of jasmine. Just to bring different feels, the different facets that each one has. There's tuberose in there as well, and we worked around narcissus, gardenia, and like all these like very dense and rich white floral notes.
Okay.
So yeah, Compliment is a white floral bouquet, very solar, very positive, and that's something that we wanted to bring. We felt like times were not very positive lately with the whole pandemic situation, and we wanted to bring a fragrance that was very joyful,
very happy.
Yeah, and that kind of reminded us of summer too, because like a lot of people couldn't really travel, and like for people stuck in Paris, like I was, we were kind of missing the beach and all these like summer vibes, and that's why we wanted to bring this very positive feel at that time with this fragrance, and yeah, just a whole positive feel in the notes, but also in this like whole compliment story behind.
Yeah. So why did you call it Compliment? That's it. Is that a French word as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is
the same thing?
Because same thing, and that was one of the names they had, like the original names. And it's inspired from the original Compliment as well. That was a white floral fragrance, but with a lot more ylang-ylang, not as focused on white florals. It was like a white floral fragrance, but that offered a bit more things, and we wanted to stay in this like white floral spectrum because we thought that Compliment, so how do you really compliment someone? We thought that giving them like flowers was a great way to compliment someone, and so that's how the idea originally came. and so we focused on these white florals that were present in the first fragrance. And also because for this like feel good, very positive feel. And there's this French expression which says se jeter des fleurs, so it's to throw yourself flowers, and it means to how to say, to be like almost overly confident and compliment yourself.
Okay.
And this was kind of the theme with this fragrance, is you throw yourself flowers, you just feel very compliment, and it's a fragrance that's very powerful, so that you receive compliments from others, but you also compliment yourself by wearing it.
Oh wow.
And so yeah, that was the whole theme behind this fragrance, something that brings a lot of positivity, that just makes people happy and love themselves and get compliments from people around and compliment themselves too.
Wow. Okay. Would you consider this your most feminine fragrance?
I think that maybe Compliment and Pourpre d'automne might be our more feminine fragrances for
Violet, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, but for European standards, because we have a few clients that live elsewhere around the globe, and the men that really enjoy Pourpre d'automne. And Compliment, since we launched it recently, it's too soon to really figure out. But yeah, I think in like European and American culture, it's more leaning more on the feminine side.
Okay, well, you consider your fragrances unisex? Yeah,
because I mean, like floral fragrances in general are mainly seen as feminine, but those are my favorite type of fragrances. I really enjoy floral fragrances.
Me too.
And so I know that labeling a fragrance a certain gender really stops especially men from trying them out if it's like a feminine fragrance, and that's something we don't want. We feel like all fragrances are like genderless, and they complement just some, like can complement as well like any type of gender, and it's kind of sad for like men not to try out floral fragrances just because they're labeled women fragrances.
Yeah, exactly. What would you consider your most masculine fragrance then? Sketch? Or is it Honneur d'Apogée?
I think it might be Honneur d'Apogée, because most of our men clients lean towards this fragrance. But we also have a lot of women that lean towards this fragrance as well. So that's also one of the main reasons why it's our bestseller. It's the one that the most people really enjoy, because I think that's one of the reasons why it's one of our bestsellers. It's because it's very unique, very addictive, and also it pleases women as well as men.
Yeah.
And so yeah, everyone really enjoys this fragrance, and a lot of people who buy this fragrance become very faithful to it too, and so we're very happy with that. And,
yeah, did you see my bottle?
Yeah.
Pretty soon I'll be all finished with this one. So we have one more fragrance, the limited edition fragrance. It's called Cycle 001. Tell us the idea behind this, because you still have bottles, but you're selling out, right?
Yeah, we're running very low, and so soon I think that the cycle will be complete. Thank you. So yeah, the idea behind this fragrance was that we really enjoy like the limited editions in like the sneaker industry, and we kind of wanted to bring something similar. But the problem with fragrances is that it's so frustrating when you buy a limited edition fragrance that you can't find after. You don't want to use it because you don't want to finish the bottle. Yeah. And so that's why we came up with this concept of bringing limited fragrances, but that are unlimited for the people who own a bottle. So the people who own a bottle can refill at will their fragrance. We have refills on our website, and so it's limited to 1,000. So there's exactly 1,100 bottles, but 1,000 people who will own a cycle.
Oh wow! So tell me, it's iris focused once again, right? Is there iris in here, or am I picking up the angelica?
So there is iris, but there's also, so the main ingredient would be angelica root, but there's also a lot of iris rooty notes in angelica, and that's why. So it's Patrice Patrice Revillard who worked around this fragrance, and he wanted to work around this angelica root, and and all the like small facets that you find in this ingredient extend them. So there's naturally like musky notes present in angelica roots. So he added even more musks. There's peppery notes in the angelica root, and so he added more peppery notes. Same with like mineral frankincense notes, iris. Ruby
I'm getting
notes,
vegetal
and,
touches.
Yeah.
Vegetation, green, but very powdery.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So then you have a few more bottles left of this.
Yep.
And once you sell out, only the 1,100 people will be able to get a refill.
Exactly.
Okay. Cool. Will you do another limited edition?
We do want to work around more cycles because, so like what the name suggests, we wanted to create something very eco-friendly, something so that we wanted to give back what we take from our planet, and that's why we worked around a biodegradable packaging, as well as a thinner glass, so it's not as it doesn't.
So this glass is thinner than your bottles.
Yeah.
Normal bottles.
So it's a lot lighter too. It's like a new technology to make very thin glass.
And it's refillable.
And so it's refillable. There's the number carved in the bottle.
Oh. So I've got number 0467.
Yep.
Don't know if you can see that, but that's cool.
And also what we worked on with this fragrance is we partnered up with Bee Fund, which is an association that that preserves bees. And the reason why we did that is so it goes with the concept of this cycle, but also because bees are very important to perfumery in general. Because it's thanks to them that we have all these flowers that keep spreading, and also because it's so important to our history, because we were suppliers of the Empress Eugenie, and so we have this bee stamp.
Yeah, now it's modernized with the new logo.
Yep.
There you go. All right, so what's next for the brand? Tell us.
So we're working on a new fragrance, like I said, that will come out in September of 2022. We also just recently started working around new cycle 002. Oh. So it's like I mentioned, we had a meeting with Nathalie last week, and so we just started working on it last week. So it's very recent. We have no clue yet when it will come out.
Can you give us a clue of what it is or what it's going to be like? Or
we don't really know yet because we have so many ideas and we shared so many things with Nathalie, and she showed us so many things that it's still very there's nothing really defined yet. It was just a lot of ideas that were brainstormed together. So I can't really tell more about it.
Okay.
But yeah, like I mentioned, our future launch for the Heritage range in 2022 will be around these like woody, frankincense, pretty dark notes. A bit of
going into the masculine
well.
Side, I guess.
Yeah. And because yeah, like I mentioned, the guys didn't want me to work around floral iris notes anymore, which is completely understandable. And so we decided, yeah, to work more on this like woody spectrum that we don't really have. Like there's woody notes in a lot of our fragrances, but we're not like in the like. You're
not deep in the woods.
Yeah. And so that's what we wanted to do with the next one.
Okay.
And yeah, those are the current projects, but there's a lot of things we want to do in the future. We just have to wait for the right timing.
Right time.
A lot of people ask us for like a sketch soap or a compliment soap, and we received a lot of people of comments from people who wanted us to launch new soaps.
Do you plan on doing soaps?
We do want to do more, but it's something that will come probably in the like further future, because it's quite complicated with the current period. Like the soap manufacturers are very busy with everything else, obviously with this situation.
Okay.
And so it was quite a hassle to launch the NUEE soap first of all.
Okay.
So we want to wait a bit until things cool down and then maybe think about making more soaps.
Okay, cool. We learned a lot today from Anthony of Maison Violet. We do have a giveaway. We have 3 prizes. So one bottle of choice, does it also include one of these, or would you rather keep it with your original line?
Yeah, original line, because I can't even guarantee we'll have bottles left of Cycle.
So any of the fragrances in the original collection, not the Cycle 001, one subscriber This is a USA and EU, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
The prize is USA and EU. So just let us know what you liked about the video, which fragrance you'd like to win if you won, and if your country is, of course. If you're commenting from the USA, please put down your state. Other than that, Anthony, thanks so much for doing this video in my studio. I appreciate you stopping by. Guys, if you have any questions or comments, please do list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.
Bye.